live from Kuala Lumpur, feeling pretty kind of like a little bit intense after I think all of the different activities and energy shifts of the last week are kind of really coming up now. So feeling a kind of funny mix of exhaustion and at the same time just adrenaline and a bit of wiredness as well. And so I finally made it off the island, and I'm really wanting to send so much love to... Thanks, Metaphysical Mike. I appreciate you tuning in. Sending lots of love to the people of Indonesia, specifically Bali, Lombok, and Gili Air, because that's where I spent time this trip. Feeling more and more guided to actually spend more time in Indonesia, and maybe 3 months of the year or 6 months of the year, and maybe even setting up a business or something over there. But anyway, I digress. I really want to share like the beauty of one, like spiritual work, so a dedicated meditation practice. Two, the discipline and the depth of the work, and also how much patience and diligence and persistence we need from within ourselves to really allow the rewards of the work to start reflecting back to us in our daily lives. That our systematic training is very much quick fix. I work and I make money, and on that physical plane, it's very kind of obvious and instantaneous. Inner work is less obvious, and sometimes it's not instantaneous in that clear way that a kind of physical exchange is. Hence why I'm really noticing the serendipitousness and the miraculousness of divine timing and flow, and how like everything and every moment that we're in is really meant to happen. And often when it doesn't happen like right now, and we start to like have those freakouts and have those moments of impatience, there's a lesson there that when we're impatient, or when we're like grasping, or when we're trying to get something or someone or some job, we're not in trust, we're not in flow. Because really, flow and trust are a state of relaxation and a state of peace, right? That's why where again I could say I was sort of channeling infinite intelligence or consciousness when I was writing the Fearless Life Guide. Rest and relaxation was step 11. That's the ultimate state of being that encapsulates the kind of entirety of gratitude and forgiveness and trust and flow, and being one with the intuition rather than seeking ourselves outside of ourselves, right? So ultimately, in a really simple way, if we're not relaxed, if we're not peaceful, we're not in alignment, we're not in the flow, we're not allowing those miracles to really be present and to be the way of our existence, right? And this last week was a real test to that, and a test to the work, because the days, as it were, really seemed to progress. Like, I woke up with a little subtle hint that something was up the morning of my flight. I have never bought travel insurance. I've never worried about it. I've never even really had like any of those signs come up before traveling. And yet, as I was packing and I was looking over my travel itinerary, something just didn't feel right. But I kept rationalizing, being like, it's fine, which it is fine. But when I arrived at the airport and I saw that the flight was canceled, again, that like, where I could say it was my own, but I also could say there was a collective energy of panic and worry and stress. So I had a choice in that moment. Do I go into panic and stress? I did a little bit, for sure. I'm not gonna like pretend that I didn't. I had a little like, And then I messaged a dear friend asking for money, because I knew the main thing for me was that I would need some financial support over this week. So they soothed me. They're again a dear friend. They said, you know, you're enfolded in love and light, and I will send you the money. So the money was sent. I then decided just to like sit and meditate. So I withdrew myself from the collective energy field of the airport and just sat down. And then it was like, okay, I just have to go home. I have to like contact obviously booking agents and all that kind of stuff and airlines, and I'll figure out and I'll know what to do. And I did, in that kind of stirring of stress, I booked another ticket, which was canceled as well. And so the week really progressed, like every morning waking up with the kind of surge of having to take action on some level. Also because when I flew out yesterday, the immigration people, they wanted to stamp my passport and charge me for my overstay. And so I was actually really lucky to have all of these different bookings to prove to them that I was taking action and doing my utmost to exit in time, right? So if I'd maybe even left it that week, he could have charged me like 60 quid a day or something like that for my overstay, which was about 3 days or 4 days. However, I had all these tickets lined up consecutively day after day after the airport reopened and all that kind of stuff. So the officers were just like, no, you're fine, you know, like just let her go. And then I was just like gushing, like almost crying, being like, I love your country. I would never do anything to break the rules. And then he smiled, which is rare because often immigration people just don't crack a smile. And I also met this amazing man actually at the airport yesterday who was with me all the way through immigration. And he's like totally aligned, and we talked about Eckhart Tolle and the plastic-free revolution and all this kind of stuff. And he was there just like holding space while the immigration guy was kind of taking me to the office and like, you know, investigating my situation. And so I know that was like support in that moment. And then of course I'm in Kuala Lumpur, and I had a friend that I met 3 years ago reach out to me when she found out I was stuck in Bali. She reached out to me and was like, hey girlfriend, if you need a place to stay. And that was the green light that I really needed. Once my first 2 flights were canceled, I basically, because of my funding situation, I was like, I need to be able to go somewhere, but I don't necessarily have money to go stay in a hotel in Singapore or Kuala Lumpur or Bangkok. You know, it's one thing to stay somewhere for like 8 quid in Bali. It's another to find that kind of accommodation in a big city. So she just reached out and was like, yeah, you can come to Kuala Lumpur. And that was the green light, booked the ticket. And even the final flight on December 2nd, on the evening that was canceled, it meant that I was able to make a few more connections. I got to go see some live music. I was able to connect with someone that I think I just needed for my own liberation and my own, you know, the next phase of my journey, someone that I needed to connect with, and then a broader circle of people as well who are really aligned with All to Love's mission and purpose. So, you know, all these little things that happened, and I could have been swept up in the fear, and no, it wasn't exactly like an extended holiday either. People kept being like, just make the most of it. It's like an extended holiday, which, and again, Bali is beautiful, but the way that I live my life is sort of like a perpetual holiday. I really am claiming my freedom and living my sovereignty and living in fearlessness, but that means that every day there's like this like work to do, right? So you don't get days off from yourself when you're endeavoring spiritual transformation or endeavoring a fearless life. You're always sort of committed to that self-work and that inner work. At the same time, the fluidity and the miracles and the beauty that unfolds, and what I'm observing is just this infinitely expansive spiral of awakening, and really life does become more and more beautiful. And you know, sitting with my emotional upheavals has just become part of my life, and it means that I never have to rely on other people to make me happy. I never am like seeking external happiness. It just drops in. support, love, connection. It just drops in naturally, and all I have to do is practice being relaxed. So I made it off of Bali safe, and I want to send loads of love to the local people there who are just so kind, and pray that Mount Agung does what she needs to do to regenerate herself, but also causes the least amount of destruction on a human and animal level possible, and that it just offers great benevolence for the planet and for the restoration and regeneration of our planet. And I'm looking forward to really sharing more with you guys about the journey, and about veganism, and about environmentalism, and about being plastic free. That's a biggie. It's like when you start making those conscious choices, it's suddenly like everywhere. Like just noticing how much plastic is out there, and at the same time meeting people who have solutions. So seeing that we could actually like clean up the oceans and use the plastic to build houses, or cleaning up and using the plastic to build roads. So there's absolutely solutions for every perceived problem that we have. It's just a matter of more and more human beings on the planet choosing to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem. So if you want to talk more about that and how to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem, then comment and message me. Metaphysical Mike, I did see a brief comment about doing stuff with you on your YouTube channel, and that'd be really fun. So feel free, you can message me, you can get in touch, molly@altalove.com. At some point I will fill in the description box below. I look forward to hearing from you, and everybody else, I hope that was useful to you in some way. Feel free to like and subscribe and do all that juicy stuff. I love you guys very much, and wishing you a wonderful day. Bye for now.